Michael Fielding, I got to tell you something. Your phones are ringing.
It is ringing. It's the day, baby.
They already know we're coming out with a new show today, and we're coming out swinging. We're going to bring cognitive surrender. Now, Michael hit me up about this idea, and he's like, Greg, we have an idea that we talked about the other day about a show, and I did a lot of work, and I put together a great slide deck, and then he sideswiped me today, guys and gals, and he's like, Greg, we can't do that. We have to talk about cognitive surrender. And I'm like, what is that, Michael? So, Michael, what is cognitive surrender? And welcome, you handsome man.
Greg, good morning. And the phone is ringing. Those are people calling me up saying, hey, you guys were supposed to start at 10:40. Why aren't you starting? So here we are, 10:40. We got a relatively quick show for you today, but we are going to talk about...
We're going to talk about how to turn a phone off during a podcast recording.
It is off. That was my wife, and she breaks through on everything. So we'll let her go to voicemail and see. But we're going to talk about cognitive surrender, which is giving in to AI and how we're letting it take over what we do on a day in and day out basis. So, Greg, I'm not even sure where to start here, but we have a pretty good presentation, and I think we should just roll right into it.
Let's go, man. Bring it up. Yeah, this is a good presentation, and I want to. There's a report that I think Harvard put out, and it's worthwhile reading. And Michael and I'll go deeper on this on a different show. But Michael, tell me this: what am I looking at, dude?
Okay, we're talking about navigating artificial intelligence in real estate, and the article from Harvard was intense. It basically says, as AI is getting smarter, we are becoming more reliant on AI and less intelligent, or using our intelligence less. So, Greg, we're going to jump over into this first slide, and we're going to talk about some of the ways people are using AI in the business. And I think, the one that we've known about for years is AVM.
Yep.
And I think AVMs are getting better as we go, but it's still based on block data, right? It's the MLS data comes out. We have a sale price. We have a square footage. We put those two things together and we come up with an AVM, and we can basically multiply the square footage times the cost per square footage and get a rough estimate of where homes should be. Obviously, it is intended just to be a rough estimate because it's going off that data. What's starting to happen with the integration of AI is people are taking the photos, they're scanning those through AI, and AI is saying, hey, this house is better than that house, which means it's probably worth more. It's getting really, really cool. Hopefully by now, everybody is using AI, chat, Claude, whatever you want to use to create listing descriptions. Okay, this is just generative AI. Here's my house. You can even upload photos. Give me a description that I can use on the MLS. And then finally, contract summarization tools. And I'm going to add into this same section, Greg, because I absolutely love it, is the review of disclosures and HOA docs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these are mainstream ways that brokerages are using Claude Cowork and AI in general to get things moving. So good news is the real estate industry is adopting AI at a breakneck speed. Okay, it's huge. They are jumping in there, both feet. Most people now are using generative AI almost every single day. We're using it to help with pricing, marketing, writing emails, okay, contract analysis, disclosure analysis. I do not do anything with disclosures until I've started running them through AI, letting it process, letting it ask me questions. Hey, when you get stuck here, ask me a question and I'll fill it in. And we're going to talk about where that comes in. And we are using this, and it is very quickly blurring the line between AI as a tool and AI as a brain.
Well, we're using it as a kind of a more or less a second brain at this moment. I mean, I was talking with somebody, or actually earlier today, about how, both of us are actually putting it through like an email. If we want to sound smarter, I did it yesterday for an introduction. I put it through chat and it rewrote my email because I'm like a third grader with a crayon on a bad dyslexic day. when it comes to writing stuff. And I'll tell you, it rewrote it in like a nanosecond. And man, it made me, feel like I sounded smart. But that we're walking a razor edge on this.
Wait a second, Greg. I got a question for you. You said AI is a second brain for you.
Yeah, it is. It's starting to be.
Is it a second brain or is it the first?
Shut up, Michael. I know where you're going with this.
No, seriously. I think people are using AI as a crutch, Greg. Are you?
They are, and it's very easy to do. I actually make a concerted effort. I know this sounds, all Mary Poppins and high and mighty and everything's perfect in the world, but I try my best and my darndest to work my problems myself. If I got an issue, I figure it out. I go to YouTube. I'm like, okay, how do I? Like the other day, I was doing some weed eating on my parents' 10-acre ranch up here, right? I didn't know how to thread a freaking lawn weed eater. Guess what I did? I went to AI. I went to YouTube. I watched a video and I figured it out my damn self. I had to be shown how to do it, but just like a human standing there. But AI didn't give me instructions. Okay. So I think that there's a big distinction there. It can be an assistant, but it sure as heck should not be your primary go-to for every problem in life. Figure it out. Otherwise, you will become literally dumb because you just have no life experience, no way to work through a problem.
So, largest study ever done on this from Harvard really produced one question. And that question is whether AI can think for us or whether we are still going to be able to think for ourselves.
We can think for ourselves, but we have to be taught how to do that. It's like giving your kids, like if let's say you're a parent of a young child, let's say 4, 5, 6, something like that, right? Give that child a rotary phone and tell it to dial your phone number.
Yeah.
Not going to have a freaking clue.
Well, that's not fair, Greg. A lot of my kids in their 20s never saw a rotary phone.
Okay. I wasn't going to insult your children.
Well, you're really just telling us that we're old. Okay. So there's a tri-system mind of the modern agent. Okay. System one is intuition. Greg, you and I both know that we could very easily walk into a room, and I'm putting you on camera for this, and get a pretty good idea of what's going on with that house. Is there deferred maintenance? Is there is there pride of ownership? Those things come out. That is intuition. When you know that, you know it right away. Okay. System number 2 is deliberation. Okay. This is running comparables. Can you run comps? Do you have enough knowledge of the neighborhood? Okay. What about contingencies? How are those going to apply? Cap rates, if it's a rental. Okay. Accurate, but demands high mental effort. Okay. And system 3 is artificial. It's very, very fast. Okay. Very fast. It can go through and it can create an AVM. Okay. An automated valuation. Okay. Chat GPT can create summaries of stuff. I use Claude to take HOA documents. Tell me, Claude, is this HOA financially stable? Those things are extremely, extremely important, and it's a great use of AI.
Actually, I did that, Michael. I did that on, when you first told me about that, I had my team manager go back and grab my CCNRs and my HOA, some other HOA docs on a condo that I sold, a number of years ago now. And those things are like, mine was like 1.5 inches plus thick. It was a thick doc. It's a huge property too. And we fed the entire PDF into that thing, and it chunked out. We asked it for, look for red flags. Is it budgeted? We want to, some things that we need to be aware of, so on and so forth. That thing read the entire doc and cranked out exactly what we need to be aware of. Of course, double check everything because, AI is still not a human being, but it was awesome. Disclosures. I ran it on a set of disclosures I downloaded about a property in the Monterey area. And it just, Santa Cruz area. And it broke down everything, brought in building, fees, brought in everything from different city and county records, which I wouldn't have known where to look. So it's really good, but it's really bad. Use it as a base of knowledge, not as the second coming of Christ when it comes to knowledge base sometimes. Wouldn't you agree with that? You throw some salt in regards with that.
I would definitely agree with that. And Greg, here's part of why, right? Humans are cognitive misers. We hold on to thinking about things. And when you look at AI, so system one, intuitive, the speed, milliseconds, cognitive effort, is It's effortless. Post hoc rationalization. That's how we justify it. And then it carries some risk and exposure. When you're deliberate, it's the seconds become minutes. It's very high effort. You're thinking, you might have to bust out a pencil or a spreadsheet. It's very rule-based. And the agent manages the risk. So you're taking on the risk. Artificial intelligence is very fast. It's absolutely no effort. Okay. It's generated on demand. And the agent still carries the risk.
We always carry the risk, no matter
We
what.
always carry the risk.
We always are carrying the risk.
Yep. And what I tell people is if you are using AI, don't hide it. Make sure your clients know and make sure that you have a disclaimer in there that says this is AI.
It's very simple.
And that AI does not replace going in and looking at the data yourself. Okay. Offloading versus surrender. The client gives you a request, draft a listing agreement. AI can come in. Okay. You've created a blueprint. It generates a response. Okay. Here is the problem that we have. All too often, there is this thing called cognitive surrender. That is where we are just assuming that we are getting correct information from AI. We are blindly passing the output to the client. Okay. This is where the risk stands today. And the Harvard study came out and said that over 50% of the time, there are inaccuracies in the data that we're providing our clients if we're doing that. So big issue. I think, Greg, when we talk about where the biggest risks are, this is it. Okay. We're taking ourselves out of the equation. We have spent dozens and dozens of, hours of training, hundreds of hours of training, years and years of education doing the business. And now suddenly we're like, oh, here, chat, go ahead and take over my business. I don't think the technology is there yet, and we still have to be involved.
Well, wait a minute here. In certain circumstances, I believe you are correct. Like if you're evaluating an asset that's not your primary market, where you literally know what the people ate for dinner that night or the night before, because you're that in tune, the houses, the streets, the different variations of price and noise levels and demographics and access to stores and freeways and all that stuff. Knowing that using AI, I think is very, very helpful because you can easily weed out the BS and then redo your market analysis or projection or whatever else. But when you're going into a marketplace you don't know, definitely, absolutely second guess it and challenge it. I mean, I had to rebuild a calculator I was building like 5 times. It kept on, oh, I forgot about this. Oh, I didn't do this. Oh, there was a error here. Let me rewrite it. And I'm like, gosh, damn it. Just get it done. Yeah. And you notice I didn't cuss there. I'm very proud of myself.
I'm very proud of you too.
Grain of salt. Thank you. Grain of salt, people. Grain of salt. Michael, I cut you off. Let's get it with the 80% for failure rate. What are you talking about here?
So here's the way the study went, Greg, and you would love this. They did these trials and they created a system where they knew that in certain instances, AI was going to give faulty information.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Now, what they found is that when AI provided a faulty answer, 80%, 79.8% blindly followed what AI said.
I think it's because we have innately as humans, we want to trust, right? Because think about it. Everything that we've known up to this point, and I'm just talking as a simpleton here, a normal Joe walking the streets, learning this stuff as everybody else, right? You know what? A computer, you turn it on, it turns on. You type something, it's typed. You go to social media, you post on social media. It does what you tell it to do, the way you tell it. Michael's getting way too excited for this for some reason, and I'm worried why he's warming up his hands.
I'm going to respond to this one great. So finish your thought.
But I think in reality, for just literally letting everything done to a computer is foolhardy on every level.
You're 100% right. And I think you are missing the key point.
I've always missed the key point.
And I am going to say that 80% or a good number of the people in that 80% window either didn't know the real answer.
Of course they didn't. That's why they used AI. I agree with that.
Or
Ooh.
are too lazy to review what AI has given them.
Well, the laziness is a factor. I mean, think about it. Real estate agents are three things: lazy, cheap, paranoid. It's a factual thing. I mean, think about it. Everyone's listening to my voice, seeing my face. Take an internal, little audit. Are you lazy? Yes.
Yep.
Are you cheap? Absolutely. Are you paranoid? Without a doubt. So I agree with you, Michael. We do just blindly follow AI to the slaughter sometimes, and it's to our it's to our defeat with that mindset.
Okay, so the finding here really gets deeper, Greg, as when AI provided a faulty answer, 80% of users followed it blindly. However, if we assume that the accuracy baseline is 45.8%,
okay,
working all by yourself, so they give you a set of equations, and the baseline is that you are going to be almost 50% correct. Okay, and let's just assume it's math, right?
No.
Now, the people that used AI, their accuracy on the baseline dropped to 31%, 31.5%, which basically means AI is making people less accurate on their own. Okay, so the conclusion, smart professionals don't just fail to catch AI mistakes. The AI actively drags their performance down.
Okay, so let's beg the question: why use AI then?
Oh, that one's easy. I have a good answer for that. Column 3.
Column 3.
Okay, when you use AI, it takes milliseconds. Okay,
right.
The brain effort, cognitive effort, is 0. Everybody loves 0 effort.
Okay, yeah, but 0 effort gets 0 quality results. You just proved that.
No, I have proved that it's reduced results in certain instances. Now, remember, when we go back to this discussion, this was a rigged study to test failure rate. Okay. Users were given reasoning puzzles and access to an AI assistant. The AI was secretly rigged to give confidently wrong answers half the time.
Well, I'm screwed.
Right? That's not the point. The point is to figure out what people do. Okay. So the other thing that AI does is it creates this self-reported confidence versus the actual accuracy. Okay. And I think they say it really well here. AI doesn't just change your answer, it inflates your ego. Okay. It makes you feel cool. It makes you sound good. In this study,
that's true.
By Wharton, AI access inflated user confidence by nearly 12 percentage points, even when the AI was completely wrong. You don't care if it's right. Okay.
You put it through AI. You're right. Yeah, I can see that. I've done that. I actually did that this morning. To tell you the truth, I did that this morning.
Yep. So here we have a trap. An agent uses AI to generate a CMA. The AI hallucinates, makes up historical property data. The agent, thinking that sounds about right, presents the flawed data to a seller with unearned absolute certainty. Okay. The confidence does not recalibrate to the actual accuracy. So he's got less accurate data because he's been hallucinated, but we still stay in that 77% confidence level.
So something that's kind of popping into my mind when it comes to running a CMA, which I think a lot of times we're doing that. I mean, our industry, it takes, shoot, man, I've been doing this for 26 plus years. Running CMAs by hand is laborious. And gosh, it takes a lot of time to run them. And it is a pain in the ass. Having it done for you is game changer 101 in my opinion. Now, after this conversation, I would recommend getting a copy of all of those addresses used as the comps, copy and paste those into a different chat with whoever you're using, Gemini, Claude, chat, whatever, and ask for detailed specifics of when the property hit the market, when it was sold. That's open data. They can get that information. It's county records, right?
Yep.
Have it pull it down and make sure it's not going back, 18 months. Stay within that 12-month bubble. Look at the exact properties. Look at the timings. Verify that all of them were really sold.
Yeah. And the prices were what they are and the square footage. And Greg, I think you and I both know, because we've talked about this over and over, and everybody should know this. A CMA is as much art as it is science, right? And AI breaks down the science and makes up the art. So when you're using these tools, make sure that you're approaching it with the knowledge that it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% wrong to still be a little right, and vice versa, right? There's going to be this swag, and you just have to appreciate what's good and what isn't out of that. Okay. So
one of the things about listing presentations, man, you don't have to sit there and talk numbers and have this binder or this great presentation. People are buying you and your knowledge. Get along with them, be interested in their goals, find a way through the problem that they have, either buying or selling real estate, one of the two. Give them the best possible solution. I've watched multiple agents, specifically T. Diddy, the Grandmaster. He would go into a listing presentation. He'd have all his notes, but he knew the market inside and out, right? I mean, he literally lived it, breathed it, was around it. He'd go in there with his Costco khakis on and his Costco plaid shirt. Loves Costco clothes, by the way. That's not a joke. And you know what? He'll sit there, cross his legs, and he doodled on the CMA. Doodled on it. And people, I don't know what kind of, fairy dust he was spraying around the houses, but people were just like, But that comes with knowledge. It comes with market presence, and name recognition. So,
well, it also comes with the confidence that knowledge.
It does. That's the confidence, because get there early, drive around the neighborhood, see what's selling, who's remodeling, write down the address, to ask the questions. Hey, I saw your neighbors over 4, 5, 6, something upside down street. It looks like they're renovating. Are they moving? Well, yeah, Bob and Stacy are thinking about moving to Hawaii. Great. You just got intel about the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple. That's what it takes to really understand the marketplace.
Okay.
Continue, Michael, before I get tongue lashed.
The scissor effect is the positive story here. Okay. And basically what we're saying is, if there is a baseline human, the gold line in this diagram, if you are using accurate AI, and let's just go under the assumption, Greg, that most AI and mainstream tools is accurate, you are going to get a 25-point boost in productivity and performance. Okay. If it's faulty AI, you're only losing 14 or so points.
That's a lot of points, dude.
It's a lot of points, dude. But the horizon is looking very positive. Okay. So as we continue down this, okay.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Under pressure, the buffer becomes a trap, right? In normal conditions, you get a certain amount of productivity, right? But in real estate, it's about ticking clocks, bidding wars, offer expirations, all of those things, inspection windows. And what this study found is that the temptation to surrender to AI alone is very dangerous and reduces accuracy by a minimum of 12%.
Well, think about it. You're getting hit on every side. Sign up for this. Everyone's $20, right? So you got $20, or $20, or $20, or $20. Well, $20 later, it's $100 extra a month you're spending. Are you using them all? And if you are using them correctly, I don't know if it is, man. I think I'm a little bit of an old school guy. I like going to the grocery store. I like looking at my fruits and my food and my meat and my milk and everything that I'm going to buy. I like doing it myself. I like going to figure out my problem. I don't like ordering it in and having someone else do my work. That coincides with this. At what point do you say, you know what, forget it, I'm going to do my own work? Yeah. I use it as a part-time, but I'm not going to become 12% dumber or
Greg,
inaccurate.
That's what they're saying right here, Greg. Do it yourself is 12% more accurate than AI with faulty data.
Oh, well, I misread that. Okay, well, then I agree.
Yeah. So, okay, can high stakes save us? As the financial incentives increase, does it get better? Okay, real estate agents work for large commissions. Financial incentives and real-time feedback will paying people to be accurate force them to use system 2, where they do it themselves.
To a certain point, yes.
Okay, what they found is that financial incentives more than doubled the override rate. They more than doubled people going in and looking at it, and participants tried harder. The reality here on the right is even with money on the line and instant feedback, the majority still surrendered to faulty AI.
That sucks. That's
Okay.
actually not, that doesn't suck. That's terrifying.
It's terrifying.
So who's using the AI, that 44 percentage points gap that remains? Who's using the faulty AI, and how can you tell the difference?
Everybody, you can't. You have to double check your information. Okay. You also need to make sure that when you're prompting AI to ask you questions about the information it doesn't know. Okay. Those kind of things are very important. Okay. The anatomy of vulnerability, Greg, this is exactly what you asked, right? There are 3 predictors of cognitive surrender. Number 1, the vulnerable agent, trusting an AI. The overwrite rate is very low. The domain expertise isn't maybe there. They have a need for understanding and fluid intelligent versus the resilient agent who has a high need for cognition. They need to engage and do stuff on their own. Okay. They have intelligence about the market, about the data and the knowledge. And when you put those things together, you're reducing the risk that people have. And I think when you look at these 2 diagrams, it's about covering the biggest part of the bullseye, right? If you want to be resilient and you have that high need for understanding and you have an intelligence to the market, you're going to cover more of the surface that needs to be covered.
Well, that makes just normal, rational sense. I mean, look, is the easy button your favorite thing on earth? Yes, it is for me too. I mean, why do we like drive-thrus? It's easy. You don't move. You just drive through and get your food and keep moving, right? It's convenience. But in real estate and in business and interpersonal relationships and partnerships and family dynamics and everything else, you have to be the, air quotes, resilient agent. You have to find your own data. You can still, reach out to AI and other, verticals that might help you out, but you have to be thirsty for the own knowledge. There's nothing that can beat an agent that knows the market. Because like, oh yeah, Bob and Sue down the street, didn't they just buy a new minivan and they're remodeling their kitchen? Yeah, I talked to them. They're putting in blah, 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 yakety schmack. That's hyper local knowledge, people. That is really getting into the weeds, knowing your place, knowing your clientele. AI can give you the surface, but it can't give you that kind of intel. Actually, you want to hear a funny story, then we'll move on. Very, very funny, very, very quick. I was back when I first started real estate, I was door knocking 24/7. And it was a hot day, it was summer. It was in West Side Alamo, so flat streets, big acres, lots. And I walk into this open house, and I needed water and a sandwich. I walked in there, and I see this lady. And this lady, she goes, I know you from somewhere. And without even batting an eye, this is a couple of streets over. I say, yeah, you live over on Villa Don Jose. You have 2 big redwoods in your front driveway. Your husband has a green motorcycle. You drive a minivan that's tan. You just had a baby. And I left a flyer on your front door earlier today. She literally backed up going like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm not a stalker. I just know my neighborhood.
You are a stalker. Okay.
Yeah, anyways, so get moving here. Let's go.
Continue going. Not sure how many more we have here. Just a few more slides. Okay. The imperative of blueprint. Greg, I want to start with the box on the right. AI cannot hold a real estate license. AI cannot be sued, and they carry no fiduciary duty. Have a plan of how you are going to use AI. Okay. Real estate, the industry cannot survive on system 3, AI only, alone. Okay. Mm-hmm. When a contract clause is hallucinated, the black box doesn't face the lawsuit, you do. Okay. That's important. Okay. Make sure that you know what you're doing going in.
Irene was our controller in our Danville office. I would sit in her office more often than not, going like, Irene, I don't get blah. What's
Because
going
you're
on with
always in trouble.
with this contract? She'd break out a book probably 4 inches thick and have every contract document in California, and she would explain it to me. That is real learning. That is understanding your practice. And you're right. When it comes to malpractice, you're the one getting sued, not ChatGPT.
Yeah. Okay. Cognitive fitness is your competitive moat. Hey, guys, if you are listening to us today, you are getting a percentage of the information you need to do your job. Okay. You need to constantly be learning. This is your competitive value. This is what you bring. Have outsourced thinking. Okay. Be the one that's going out and constantly engaging and increasing your knowledge.
Yes.
Okay? Market research, we're calling it here cognitive fitness. Okay. Don't atrophy. Remember when you don't go to the gym and everything gets all weak and flabby and it comes down instead of going up? Okay. That's atrophy. Okay. When you have strength and muscles are building, and I don't have any muscles there, sorry. I think they're supposed to be. Then you have cognitive fitness. You're drawing on your brain and the knowledge, and that's how you're going to differentiate and separate yourself. Well, all right. So
Michael, let's tackle that for half a millisecond there, mi amigo. Mister, I'm driving the car 2,000 miles towards a cliff.
Just trying to get us out of that 40-minute mark that we always promise people.
Trying to get a point across here.
And never hit.
Michael, I'm broke. I can't afford to buy a book. I can't afford anything. How do I get smart? Well, go to YouTube. You can watch almost every book you want. You can go to oceanofpdf.com. You can download a PDF of any book or magazine that you really want. It's free, by the way. You can also go and you can, go outside, go to a library, never stop. Go watch or go listen to podcasts. Those are free as well. So anyways, let's keep going, Michael. Stop stopping us.
Greg, I also want to remind you that AI can teach you things. You can easily say, create a lesson plan for me to learn XYZ. Make sure that you cite your sources and share with me what those sources are. Create this in 30-minute chunks that I can go through to learn this topic. Boom.
Yep.
AI is going to create that. Okay. So let's go to the next one here. Friction by design. Okay. Build into your system something that has checks along the way when you are using AI. Okay. Think first, establish a baseline. Okay. Verify the data. Okay. And be strategic about the exercise and what are you applying to tasks so that you're getting positive results. And guys, it is okay to sometimes ask AI to cite its sources. I do that all the time. And go back and review what you did. So when I'm working with Claude and I work through a topic or a problem, I say, please go back and review the HOA documents and make sure that you have presented everything and give me the information in a different way so that I can validate what you are saying. Okay. And it is going to teach you along the way. You can also use this. Please validate your information and explain to me how you got to the results that you are presenting.
It's kind of like talking to your kid. Well, help me understand how you got to this answer on this math problem.
Well,
show me your steps.
No, I would argue this is kind of like talking to your Irene. Show me why this works. Explain to me why you are doing it this way. The difference is the real Irene uses a ruler when she smacks the back of your hand. AI, not so much.
Okay. All right.
AI is not a substitute for human expertise. Make sure that as we go through these tools, that you are not giving up on being the agent that you need to be. Okay. The future of real estate is not about AI. It belongs to the professionals. It's not about the MLS. It's not about controlling the data. It's about maintaining the knowledge and staying strong. Okay. Greg, this one's for you. Don't surrender your greatest asset. Maintain the blueprint of double checking your work and using what you know works.
Yeah. Use your intuitive sense on what you feel would actually be the best use, not that angle. Holy mackerel. Thank you. You're a professional at this. And I got to tell you, you're smarter than you think you are. You have more market knowledge than you think you do.
Yep.
Look, you're human. You walk around, you go get a soda, a Snickers bar, a Gatorade or a Slurpee down at 7-Eleven. Guess what? You're in the neighborhood. You know more about that area than you can possibly imagine. Sit down and review some information. Go over some spreadsheets. Look where the market's going. I use my Google Maps, and I upload different, spreadsheets of what's sold, pending, and active, and I do it by month. Then I can see how it's actually shifting in my marketplace. I'm learning it. I'm watching it. I'm invested in it. I'm not just relying on technology to be like, oh, bing, here's your fairy godmother. What's your other wish? No.
Yeah.
You get in there and roll your sleeves up. Gosh dang it. Your clients depend on you.
Okay, Greg.
Michael.
Did it, baby. I got us out of here in less than 40 minutes. I want to thank everyone for showing up and watching and checking us out on YouTube, checking us out on Greg's TikTok, Instagram, all those places. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, send us a message, anything you want. Michael at regeeks.com, Greg at regeeks.com. We will respond. Greg, take us home.
All right, guys, there it is. This is an impromptu show in regards to content, but it's a really awesome study. Michael, if they wanted to read the whole study for themselves to actually do their own research, where would they find it? What is it called? And then I'll close us out.
It is called, it's a Harvard study, and you can find it on
the web.
Boy, I wish I knew. You stumped me, Greg. I don't have my AI up.
We will figure it out. Guys, just look for the Harvard study talking about cognitive surrender. You will find it, but go take a look. Be aware. Be your own person, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. You're incredible. You're absolutely more awesome than you can possibly imagine. Go show us, interact with us, talk with us, like, follow, subscribe on everything. And if you see us pop up one of those little shorts, give us a nice little note. We love to hear from you. Until the next show, boom, peace. We love you. We're gone.
Peace.